Hey friends, Andrew here, hope you're well. When I think of Sonos, I think of high-end and expensive. But now I think they're also adding another word, affordable, because Sonos just dropped their brand new soundbar, the Sonos Ray, at only $279 to complement their high-end collection, the Beam and Arc soundbars. And during a time when prices for practically everything is going up and up, it's quite refreshing to see Sonos drop an affordable budget yet quality soundbar. So when I saw it announced a month ago, I just had to pre-order it immediately, and now that I've spent a week with it, I think I have some interesting thoughts to share. So here's my full review on the Sonos Ray. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Sonos whatsoever. So straight out of the box, for $279 you'll get the Sonos Ray soundbar itself, of course, a power cable, an optical cable, and your usual booklets. That's it. Super simple, and yeah, we are disappointingly lacking a HDMI eARC cable, but more on the Ray's pitfalls later in this video. I'll be replacing the outdated Yamaha ATS 1080 soundbar that I have here and that I've been using for the last few years. This is a lounge room upgrade that I think has been a long time coming. The setup was extremely simple, even Bob the Builder can manage. Just plug the Ray into the wall, connect it up to the TV with the optical audio cable, then set it all up with the intuitive Sonos app on my phone, which was pretty fast since this isn't the first Sonos in the home. It'll take a little longer if it's your first Sonos speaker though. One of its most interesting features, aside from its amazing price tag, is its simple aesthetic design. At first glance, it kind of looks like Beam's little brother who doesn't know how to properly stand up. And that's because the Ray is the first Sonos soundbar to have a perpendicular front face. So what this means is all the sound drivers at the front are facing forward. So for all us interior design fanatics and general minimalists, this is the only Sonos we're going to be able to tuck within an entertainment console without worrying about the sound acoustics and its direction. Maybe controversially, I opted for the unpopular choice, the clean white aesthetic. I personally think it is quite nice in a lounge room setting, but I also think it depends on the aesthetic that you have going in your lounge room or wherever you're placing the Sonos Ray. At 22 inches and only about 4 pounds, it's smaller than its more expensive 25-inch Beam, and quite literally half the size of the flagship Sonos Arc. The touch controls are also a nice clean touch. No pun intended there. Overall, the design of the Ray is iconic Sonos. Sleek, modern, stylish, yet understated. But I find the Ray to be a bit more playful and youthful in its design, particularly in the fresh white variant. Before we dive deep into the positives, I think it'd be a bit more interesting and probably more fair to dive into the negatives first to justify how Sonos has priced this soundbar at $279. I think a key negative here is the lack of Dolby Atmos, which is essentially the creme de la creme surround sound technology by creating height channels so sound can be interpreted as three-dimensional objects. And if that sounds confusing, just consider it as a more realistic sound input, or output I should say. The flagship Arc has upward firing speakers to bounce sound off the ceiling, so you get that almost signature Atmos, three-dimensional sound, and the Beam gets virtual Atmos, but using acoustic trickery to recreate that ceiling to floor sound. The Ray has zero support for Dolby Atmos, so let's not confuse it there, so we don't get the height effects. We instead get the standard Dolby and DTS audio, and yes, we could let it slide based on pricing and feature differentiation within the two other models, but the just as affordable Sony HTX 8500 not only features true Dolby Atmos, but also inbuilt dual subwoofers that we don't get in the Ray. Another spicy element missing on the Ray is HDMI eARC, which lets you transmit the original full resolution audio signal through to a single HDMI cable to reproduce the best sound. It's a pretty standard feature seen in most soundbar these days of all prices, but instead, the Ray makes do with an optical input, which supports Dolby, DTS, and PCM audio. Nothing special, and we miss out on elevated audio formats like Dolby True HD, DTS, and Master Audio because of the lack of HDMI here. You could argue that some people aren't even buying the Sonos Ray as part of a TV setup. These do make stellar standalone speakers in living spaces and around the house in general. But yeah, the lack of HDMI though will be a big letdown, is a genuine negative for most people. Also, the convenience of, hey Sonos, hey Google, hey Alexa, okay Google, it's not going to work here. A microphone and Bluetooth is also missing from the feature list in this soundbar. This may or may not be a negative to you, especially to the privacy conscious. This could be a positive. But what this does mean is no support for Sonos's automatic TruePlay feature, which lets their speakers tune their sound automatically to suit the placement in the room. The Ray still does support TruePlay. I just had to tune it manually, but it's well worth a few minutes invested into getting that all to work. Wi-Fi connectivity in Apple AirPlay 2 is also available to cover the lack of Bluetooth, so I guess you could say that it evens out, but just be wary that Bluetooth is lacking here with the Ray. Okay, so that's all the negatives out the way. No Dolby Atmos, HDMI, Bluetooth, nor microphones. Not too bad of a trade-off if you ask me at $279, because inside the beautifully designed soundbar, we're getting 2 angled tweeters, mid-woofers, and 4 Class D drivers. This probably means very little to most non-tech consumers, but let's keep it simple. It equates to some pretty dang good bang for buck sound. The Ray has a diverse yet well-balanced soundstage and well-articulated bass, which is especially impressive considering its smaller size. So how do movies sound? The Ray made movies sound loads better than our LG OLED built-in speakers, not surprising, and noticeably better than the Yamaha ATS 1080 I was using previously. It does justice to my fave TV shows like Stranger Things, Ozark, and Peaky Blinders. Awesome shows, by the way. This is done with the solid voice reproduction with the Ray's broad speaker soundstage, and Action Movies has a cinematic oomph with its bass reflex system that delivers great low-end performance. Music sounds just as great. It's well balanced through the entire EQ band. As expected with almost all Sonos speakers, the low end is punchy, mids and highs are clear, even at high volumes. Its sound quality isn't the very best I've encountered by any stretch, nor does the volume and power impress, but it certainly punches well above its price tag of $279. Just be wary that I had the volume set at almost always above 50% because it's simply not the loudest speaker on the market. That, or I'm slightly deaf, which also is likely and doesn't help either. The other big reason to buy the Ray, or a Sonos for that matter, is the Sonos Ecosystem. If you're looking for a multi-room speaker setup, Sonos remains king and the competition is still trying to catch up. Sonos has made multi-room audio systems for longer than basically anyone, and its experience shows at every single level. If you're anything like me, once you buy a single Sonos product, you're going to be hooked and you want to add them to a whole ecosystem of Sonos speakers. Now, I'm not saying that Sonos is offering up a plate load of audio caviar for $279. They're really not. But with the Ray, it is offering a killer gateway product that may well get you hooked into the ecosystem. And that's absolutely not a bad thing, because this is an ecosystem The Sonos ecosystem is something that you'll want to be in if you remotely appreciate good audio. I know some of you guys are going to say, no Atmos, no HDMI, well, hell no to the Ray. And others are going to understand the convenience, the build and sound quality of a Sonos at $279. And then it's a hell yeah. Here's who the Sonos Ray would be perfect for though. If you're looking to upgrade an old soundbar like I was, or upgrade from your TV's audio even, and elevate your living room space on a budget, the Sonos Ray truly is pretty good still at $279. Between its sound quality and size, it really is the perfect companion for apartment living and has the flexibility to upgrade and co-join other Sonos speakers if you size up later in life. If you have a bigger budget and Dolby Atmos and HDMI is a non-negotiable, I don't blame you. There are plenty of far better options for you, like the Sonos Arc, Bang & Olufsen Bio Sound, or even Samsung Q90R. If you enjoyed this review, guys, you'll want to check out my everyday tech carry video and my home office setup videos on the sides here. And if you're a tech or business nerd, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and join the community. Drop the code word comment soundwaves if you made it this far in this video. And as always, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.